Well, as of late, I feel like it's another episode of Crybabies at Large here on my channel. As you sell more cars, a lot of people associate that you're going to make more money, and obviously that there's some truth to that. But I do want to forewarn you that the more money you make, the more headaches you're going to create for yourself. And today, this is another episode of yesterday. Shane calls me up. I was somewhere doing something anyway. I get the telephone call from Shane, and he says, "Do you remember the '06 Mountaineer that we sold a few months back?" I guess it was 2 or 3 months back. And I particularly remembered the car well because when we first brought it in, it was an all-wheel drive, super nice car, but the transmission was not shifting correctly in it. So I set out on a mission to, the car was so nice, to get the transmission rebuilt and replaced. And it took me literally months to find a mechanic that would do that affordably so I could eventually retail out of the car. But I did find the mechanic, got the transmission done, and it became a very, very nice retail piece. Now, this was an '06 Mountaineer with 128,000 miles on it, all-wheel drive, third row seat, leather, moonroof, just loaded up, super nice car. So we had a lady come by, and she had, gosh, I want to think 7 to 8 kids. I don't know. She had a car full of kids and a house full for that matter. But she was driving a van. And so she decided that she wanted to get out of the van and buy a third row seat SUV. And she did, and she looked at this one, and we went through the story with her that we had rebuilt the transmission on the car, and the car was really perfect, and it was after we got the transmission built. And she drove the car, loved the car, brought her husband back, loved the car, bought it. Within a week, she came back and said, I've made a mistake. I should have bought another van. Getting these kids inside and out of these third row seat is a hassle. The van was just so much easier, and wanted to know if we'd be interested in trading the car back in for a van. Well, at that time, we didn't have a van that was suitable for her. And so she went on about her business, keeping the car. And so anyway, yesterday we get a telephone call, or Shane gets a telephone call. Now the car, the check engine light has come on the car. And, just one problem after another. So the customer says. Now, keep in mind, the customer regretted buying the car within a week because it did not accommodate their needs as far as their children. So they haven't liked the car since then, and now have drummed up everything going wrong with the car, which is coincidental to being unhappy with the car anyway. Now, this is going to happen to you. As you retail cars, it's not all glitz and glamour and counting money. You're going to deal with these people that just, buyer's remorse is all it is. And we all get it. Every one of us, would say, I wish I hadn't bought it. One thing or another. I don't think there's a person that hasn't experienced buyer's remorse. Now, some of us suck it up and go on with our buyer's remorse and hopefully learn a lesson. Then there's other people that want you to correct their buyer's remorse for them. Anyway, point was, Shane says, well, I made him an offer back on the car, and he's going to bring it back Tuesday, and is going to take my offer. And that's where I stepped in. No, we're not making an offer on the car over the phone. They did their due diligence when they bought the car. They test drove it. They got to check it out. They did their due diligence, and we're going to do our due diligence. We're not buying the same car back. It's a car now with more miles on it. It's a car that I remember the van they traded in, and it was one nasty ass van. The way these people treat vehicles, no, we're not buying the car back because it was once a nice car. In 2 months, there's no telling what these people could have done to this car. So the first thing to do, if you want to assist in the people, I'm in agreement to that. But bring the car back, have the mechanic check it out, give it a once over on the car, then take the car to the auction and see what the current market value is on the car, and that's the price you pay for the car. The fact that we sold the car originally has nothing to do with it. The market changes on cars. Okay, and Shane pulled back out of his memory and said, "Hey, we got X number of dollars offered for that car at the auction 2 months ago." Okay, well we're not buying it back based on the price that we got offered 2 months ago. We're going to buy it back based on the current market value. And so what's going to happen to you when you go out there and you really want to satisfy your customers, and I understand that completely. We all want a good reputation for taking care of people. But then by the same token, you got to really, when you're in this business, you literally have to force people to do their due diligence on a automobile. And some people do their due diligence. These people particularly did their due diligence, and now they, like I said, just unhappy with the car, and they fall back on the dealer to take it. Now, the first thing that I think of for me in particular, I went down the other day here and I bought some produce from a little produce stand that we have here close to the shop, and I bought just several pounds of tomatoes, and I brought the tomatoes back in, and within a week all of them had turned soft, rotted, and I just really got to thinking, okay, wonder if I could just I didn't get to thinking that, but why couldn't I just return those tomatoes? They didn't even make it a solid week, but I'm not going back and return tomatoes no more than I'd go back and return a car. If I did my homework and I did my due diligence on a car, and that car didn't make it, and I've had plenty that did not make it back to the lot after I bought them at the auction, and I never, ever once go and cry about that. Now, a lot of people out there will say, well, okay, well, maybe you can afford it. Hell no, nobody can afford to lose on a car. Nobody wants to lose, but we have to go out as used car dealers. Part of our thing is the reconditioning of cars. We go out, we make the minor repairs on them and bring them up to where they're remarketable merchandise. But you're going to get customers who don't want to do that. Now, these people, I don't know about the car. I haven't seen the car. I'm still waiting for Shane to assess the car. But rather than go out and get the car fixed, they want to bring the car back needing more repairs. So these people out here that are trading their used cars in, it's because they don't want to go out and make the necessary repairs to make it a resellable used cars, to make it worth more on a trade-in or anything like that. And they'll claim, well, I don't know how, I don't have a mechanic, I don't do this, I can't. My old man just always raised me, you don't get anywhere by saying I can't. Nothing gets accomplished when you're using the word can't. And so, that's what happens. And, when you're out here and you're dealing with these customers, some of them are wonderful. We have some wonderful customers. Here lately, we've had to deal with customers that just want to dump it back in our lap because they haven't maintained it, or they've got buyer's remorse, and they come back to us like we've created a problem for them when they created their own problem. So there you are. Get ready for your buyer's remorse, those of you that want to get here. Now, would I change the business? Buyer's remorse is in every business. If you're in the buying and selling business, you're always going to get people that come back and complain to you. But now, really the point of this video is what to do when a customer comes back and wants you to buy the car back. Look, I will buy the car back. I take the car back through the auction. I get its current market value, and that's what I will pay you for the car. And I will pay you for the car the minute it runs through the auction and it brings its current market value. That's what I pay for cars. I buy all my cars at current market value that I outbid other people for at the auction. I don't buy cars back from people that are not happy with them just to make them happy. If you paid current market value for it, you did your due diligence, I'm going to do mine. Current market value is what I'll offer for the car. And the market is what it brings at the auction. The market is, I'm not going to look out here and say, okay, you paid $5,000 for this car and you're willing to lose $2,000, and I'm not going to be sympathetic because you lost $2,000 in 2 months. And I've seen people lose $2,000 in 30 minutes on a car. I'm not going to be sympathetic in that. I'm running a business here. You're going to get offered current market value. That's it. That's where I buy my cars. You buy your cars any way you want to. I buy mine at current market value. If you want me to buy a car back, be prepared to get that offer. Same way should go with you. So if you're out there and your customers do come back, and they will eventually, what will you give me for this car back? They think it's worth more because you sold it to them. No, take the car back to the auction, run the car back through. If you want to give them what the car brought at auction, that's your prerogative. If you want to sell it for them at auction, that's your prerogative and their prerogative. Don't walk back in here giving and buying a car back just based on the customer's claim or statement that they bought it from you, so you should give more for it back. If this information is of use to you, please like and share this channel. Thanks.